I was standing in the frozen food aisle when it happened. One moment, everything was normal. We were just another couple on a Saturday grocery run. The next moment, my 35-year-old husband gasped, bolted to the ice cream section, and began jumping up and down like a child. "Ice cream! Ice cream! I want chocolate!" His voice wasn't just loud. It was high-pitched, sing-song, dripping with the kind of exaggerated baby talk you might hear from a toddler who just learned the word. People turned their heads. A few laughed nervously. I felt every drop of blood drain from my face. And then, as if that wasn't enough, he kept going. "Can we get popsicles?" He was beaming, clapping his hands together like he'd won the lottery. I stood frozen. This wasn't the first time. It started about a year ago. At first, it was small, even cute in a silly way. Words like doggo or pupper when he saw a dog. Burb for a bird. I thought maybe he'd been spending too much time on internet memes, but it seemed harmless. Then it started slipping into other areas of life. Sandwiches became Sammies or Chicky Sammies. Nuggets became Chicky Nuggies or Tendies. And somewhere along the way, he added this exaggerated toddler lisp, a drawn-out sing-song tone. But the worst part wasn't the words. It was when he started using them to talk about sex. Suddenly my breasts were boobies. His body parts became wee-wee or whiner. He even used words like hoo-ha and bajingo. Every time my stomach turned, I told him, clearly, directly, that it wasn't cute, it wasn't sexy, it was repulsive to me. But the words kept coming, and so did the revulsion. We haven't had sex in 6 months. Before the pandemic hit, we were out with friends at a restaurant. He ordered a Chicky Sammy, said the phrase out loud to the waiter, then repeated it, leaning into the bit. He used the lisp, the baby voice. Our friend shifted uncomfortably, but he doubled down, laughing at his own joke. I wanted to crawl under the table. After that, I stopped inviting him out to places where he could embarrass me in public. I'd go to the brewery with friends alone because I couldn't stand the thought of him yelling, "Me want another beer," in front of strangers. And now, here we were in the grocery store. I told him, right there in the aisle, either talk to me like an adult or I'm leaving. He dropped the lisp for a moment, looked straight at me, and said, "Oh, you must be fun at parties. Lighten up, will you?" I felt something snap inside me. "Forget it," I said, and I walked out. Left him there, a mile from home. When he got back, the air between us was ice. But he didn't apologize. Instead, he demanded one from me for embarrassing him by leaving. I told him people don't get to demand apologies. If someone wants to apologize, they do it of their own will. And I was not going to apologize for walking away from a scene that humiliated me. Then he brought in reinforcements. His mother called me, saying this was just a phase, that I should be glad this was his midlife crisis, rather than him sleeping with 19-year-olds at the local bar. I didn't know whether to laugh or scream. I have talked to him many times, especially about the sexual comments. I've made it abundantly clear that words like boobies and wee-wee are revolting to me. He knows I'm turned off. He knows we haven't been intimate in half a year. And yet, nothing changes. I asked him if he talks this way at work. He doesn't. Around friends, sometimes, usually to annoy them. But he stops when they ask him to, which means he can stop. He chooses not to with me. I've even asked if he needs to see a doctor, if something's going on with him neurologically. He brushed it off, accused me of being judgmental. Given that he only does it selectively, I can't shake the thought that this is deliberate, that maybe it's a fetish he's trying to impose on me without my consent. Or maybe it's his way of driving me away without having to be the one to end things. When I brought up the idea of counseling, he laughed. When I asked if something had happened in his childhood, he deflected. The most traumatic thing I know about is a minor car accident when he was 13. No injuries, no fatalities. Now I find myself in a marriage where my husband treats public spaces like a stage for his toddler act, and our bedroom like a set piece for a joke I never agreed to be part of. I'm embarrassed, frustrated, and losing hope. So, am I the asshole for leaving him in that grocery store aisle and walking away? You know, when I first read this story, I had to stop and sit with it for a while. Because on the surface, it's absurd. A grown man yelling for chocolate ice cream in a public store. It's almost cartoonish. But the longer you think about it, the heavier it gets. This isn't just about embarrassment. It's about respect. About whether someone who claims to love you will actually hear you when you say, "This hurts me. This makes me uncomfortable. Please stop." It's about boundaries, the invisible lines that hold relationships together. When those boundaries get crossed over and over, it's not just an annoyance, it's erosion. Some people might laugh this off, say it's harmless fun. But here's the truth. Harmless fun is only harmless when everyone involved feels the same way. The moment one person says, "This makes me uncomfortable," and the other person keeps doing it, it stops being harmless. It becomes disrespect. And in this case, there's something deeper. The choice to behave one way in front of coworkers, friends, or family, and another way at home. That means control. That means intention. Which raises questions about motive. If there's a medical reason behind this, he owes it to himself and to his marriage to find out. If it's a coping mechanism for stress, there are healthier ways to deal with it. If it's a fetish, then it requires an honest conversation and mutual consent, not ambushing your partner with it in public or private. So here's my question to you, the one I keep circling back to. What do you do when the person you married refuses to hear you? When your boundaries are clear, your words are clear, and the behavior doesn't stop. Because sometimes the issue isn't whether you're overreacting. Sometimes the issue is whether you're willing to stay in a relationship where you've stopped feeling heard. What do you think? Is leaving him in that grocery store the line in the sand she needed to draw? Or should she have stayed and fought the battle in the aisle?